Bing bong.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Paddock Talk with me, Kyle.
And me, Scott.
And on today's episode, we're going to be going over the Australian GP and just going over our picks and kind of what happened throughout the race, and then kind of previewing the next GP coming up right after, I guess, last weekend, the Chinese Grand Prix coming up this weekend. Scott?
Oh yeah, with a couple hours actually, we'll be able to watch free practice one and sprint qualifying because we're recording, as we say this, on Thursday night. Uh, yeah, I can say as for Australia though, my picks were not very good. Max finishing sixth, Hadjar not even finishing period, blowing an engine. Shaw was the only one that I had on the podium in second, and he ended up finishing third. Uh, Looks like you called a better a better game than me. You just had Max that did not make the podium.
Yeah, I know we were kind of playing down Mercedes' performance a lot out last episode with our way too early FP1 predictions, but they kind of performed to all the hype that was built up around them during preseason. After FP1, they weren't looking the best, but coming out qualifying, being 8 hundredths of a second up, or 8 tenths of a second up, sorry, on the other cars, and then pretty much just dominating the race. So yeah, I didn't have them on my podium, which like I said, I was kind of playing into the downplaying their performance bit, but yeah, having Shaw up there, I guess that was a good pick. Max, unfortunately crashed out in qualifying, but
I mean, it was a hell of a drive though. Come from what was it, 20th, 21st to sixth place, which was just a great drive.
yeah, as you
I
would
think
know,
he ended up
Scott.
starting up a little bit.
No,
Yeah. I think he started a little bit higher because we had a couple of non-starters who had qualified ahead of him. So should we just get into the Australian curse, the Australian driver curse? Because that's just heartbreaking for Piastri. Honestly, like just to have a power unit glitch to where he just got an extra 100 horsepower in a turn when he wasn't expecting it, and to crash out and not even start his home Grand Prix. It's just really heartbreaking.
yeah, it was. It's in that parking lot section, I think. Um, but yeah, he was saying on the radio we didn't have any battery power and that it was kind of coming back, and then, like you said, all of a sudden he gets that torque spike and hits the wall, and on his radio you could hear him holding tears back and about to cry. So yeah, just devastating for the Australian to not even on the formation lap crash out, but on the reconnaissance lap, no less. Uh, like you
And
said, just devastating.
destroyed to the destroyed to the point they couldn't even fix the car in time for to even get on the grid is just really heartbreaking. Same thing with Nico Hulkenberg, who didn't even get to the grid. I
Hmm.
think it was another power unit issue; it wouldn't start. Uh, that's just not very good luck. We were talking Audi up on how good they were looking, and then Hulkenberg just can't make it to the grid.
Yeah, and kind of continuing with those reliability issues we've seen, that Red Bull of Isaac Hadjar had some issues as well. He was complaining about some power issues for a couple laps before his engine finally blew up. Valtteri Bottas ended up having an issue as well. I can't remember quite what his issue was, but
Um,
uh,
it was fuel pressure, or I think it was a fuel pressure issue, from
okay.
what I remember seeing. But yep, he parked it right at the pit entrance.
Yeah, and then those Aston Martins, as expected, were just dog water. Fernando parked it on lap 15, only to drive it out for a couple more laps later in the practice session. I mean Grand Prix. And then Lance, I think, believe he did the same thing as well. He finished 15 laps behind Checo, who finished 16th. So, just a great showing from Aston Martin, honestly.
Dude, like it's just so when you're using a race to be your practice session because your car is such crap, it can't even make a practice session. It's just got to sting to be Fernando turning 45 this year, and still in the prime of his career, can still wheel a car, to be stuck with that piece of just green shit. It's just so disheartening.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And if that's any indication of how the next race is going to go, I'm assuming it's going to be about the same. But
Yeah,
we'll stay in
oh, for sure.
Australia for now.
Yeah, for sure. But so let's talk about something as the years pass on. You know, some shit just does not change, and that's Ferrarying. During the race, there was a couple virtual safety cars, and Mercedes hits a two stop. Ferrari doesn't even attempt one driver on the one driver on the two. They just literally like, no, no, it's fine. Lewis is on the radio. Hey, I think one of us should either we need to pit now. We need to pit. No, 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 stay out, stay out. Track position, and I don't know if the Ferraris had if they had it for them or enough for the Mercedes, but you at least try. You at least gamble and put one car in the two stop strategy to maybe slow it down, and maybe Shaw gets a second place or has fresh tires up fight for the first. Is Ferrari just back to being their own worst enemy?
Absolutely, Scott. There's three things guaranteed in this life: death, taxes, and that Ferrari will fuck up their pit strategy. I
I
agree
mean,
with you. It seems like before Ferrari could even decide to bring a car in, Mercedes already double stacked George and Kimi, getting them out pretty quick. Like you said, Lewis seemed pretty upset they didn't at least try something different with one of the cars. Um, Going back to Ferrari's start, their turbo seemed about as good as it was hyped up as well before the season, which I kind of feel like why they were kind of in it a little bit more with Mercedes. Um, I don't think if they had that start, they would have been up there with Mercedes, especially with the pit fuck up too. So I think it seemed a little bit closer for Ferrari than it did in the end, only being 12 seconds behind Kimi. But yeah, Ferrari's going to continue to be their own worst enemy, get in their own way. But hopefully they learn early in the season and kind of get the rust shaken off from the summer
I mean,
or winter. Sorry.
it could have finished. It could have been a whole lot worse. I mean, when you fuck up and you get a third and a fourth out of it, it's still not bad. Yeah, could they catch, or are they going to be on par with the Mercedes, like you said? I mean, Shaw looked pretty good. The first 7 laps looked really intense, like just Shaw and George going back and forth, and then it shook out at the end. But that's when you got to mix it up and you got to stop and you got to try something different. Like it, not with both drivers, just with one.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I don't know why they did. It felt like Lewis, they almost had George too uh, when they had George just pinned in between Shaw and Lewis. I can't remember what lap it was, 8 or 9, right before the safety car. But yeah, just a squandered chance it seems like for Ferrari early in the season.
Poor Lewis is going to be in the cockpit, Mamma Mia. Like it, it just like you said, death taxes and Ferrari just really screwing the pooch on strategy. Like I don't get it how you're in a fight and yet don't try to at least fight for first or even second with one car. But I mean, after that, it was literally just Piastri middling in the fifth place position and Max with a hell of a run. Like
Yeah,
just that drive. I mean, with Hadjar having that power unit issue and he kind of faltered back into the pack to sixth place. Like you're kind of wondering, oh, what's Max gonna do, man? Like he just like said, the hell with it. If it's gonna blow, it's gonna blow, and just a hell of a drive through the field.
yeah, and I'm kind of interested to see what he can do up near the front of the field at the start of a Grand Prix anyway. I know he had to spend the first quarter of the race catching up, and then like we had kind of talked about, I think the day after the race, how we had kind of just equalized on performance with Lando. It had seemed like up in that 5-6 position and couldn't really get past him. So I'm wondering to see how much fight Max can bring to the Ferraris, but he seems pretty convinced that there's still a lot of work to do on that Red Bull. just from the interviews he's given. But he does drive the hell out of it, like you said, gaining 14 positions and just putting on a show. And I was going to mention earlier, if you have Max Verstappen in fantasy like you do, quite a Grand Prix in points haul for you.
Oh, what a hell of a points haul for me. I mean, he's got the double points on my team, and he really performed. Like he helped my team. I'm not gonna lie, he really did help my team out a lot.
Did you have anything else over Australia so far, or no?
No, I think that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
Everybody else looked about the same. Uh,
Audi.
definitely like. Oh, go
Go
ahead. I'm
ahead.
sorry.
No, yeah, Audi scoring points in their first Grand Prix, like that was pretty good. I know, like you said, Hulkenberg didn't even start the race, but Bortoleto had put the fight to some people. It looked like his car had pace. He seems decent. Jonathan Wheatley seemed very excited over the radio. He seems like the most well-spoken person, but probably just the fucking most cutthroat person behind closed doors.
I mean, he's from the Red Bull family, so he's definitely gonna be a cutthroat guy.
Hmm.
And Oscar Lindblad scoring points in his first ever F1 race at a Racing Bull was pretty impressive too, finishing eighth.
That was. I know we were kind of transitioning, but again, just the yeah, Arvid Lindblad. He looked quite good in that car. Bringing the he was actually in third place on lap one at one point, fighting Lewis briefly, but he had mentioned that was a highlight for him as well.
Hopefully, he continues it into China, which is like we said early on in the show. We are recording right before FP1. Uh, what are you looking at for China? Like, it is a sprint weekend. It is a sprint, so it'll be FP1 and then sprint qualifying a few hours after that. Um, what are we looking here? I know the battery issues in Australia were kind of after the first few laps. It seemed to affect the racing a bit. Everybody harvesting, and there's overtaking, but it's just pass, overtake, pass, overtake, pass, overtake. It just seems somebody's recharging, somebody's overtaking the next turn. It's that person who is recharging is now overtaking because they were recharging. Do you think that FIA is going to look into China, like after China, to maybe mess with the batteries or try to get more of the ICE into the mix?
I do think they might look at altering the batteries. Yes, just based on safety issues regarding the starts. Um, just because, yeah, we did have a instance where I think Colapinto barely got away from the line, and he or no Lawson barely got away from the line, and he was
Yeah, it
almost
was
hit in the
Lawson.
back by Colapinto. And then I think there was another. I can't remember who else got off the line slowly, but a lot of cars had gone up with nearly empty batteries that they were complaining and having a lot of issues getting off the line, and a lot of drivers are worried about crashes. Um, to your point, I did hear about a lot of drivers having get to a point where yeah they were like harvesting most of the time. I think the FIA is going to give it a couple races at least just to kind of see how the new regulations are working. Um, just based on the start with the batteries, Ferrari seems to have gotten it right. I know a lot of teams have proposed to the FIA for changes, and Ferrari's kind of the team blocking them. Not so much blocking, but just saying these are the regulations, kind of work within them. Just because they've gotten the battery issue, or not so much battery issue, but because like you said, Shaw had issues with the battery deployment as well. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think the FI is gonna give it a little bit before they look at altering anything too crazy, just being based on that the regulations just started.
I agree with Australia being like the worst track, honestly, to get a gauge at or with the battery and harvesting because most of your harvesting is done under braking. In Australia, there's only really one really braking zone, and that is kind of the chicane uh, where Oscar had wrecked out. That's the only time you're really hard on the brakes. But with China, you got the big hairpin at the bottom of, or the end of that massive backstretch. There's a couple other little 90-degree turns to help harvest. Hopefully, see a little bit more, but I don't know. Like, it's so weird watching a race and seeing just two guys gun it out, and then you see a lot of lifting way before turns. It's like, oh man, he's lifting. Oh man, he's lifting. It's kind of disheartening. I wish maybe the FIA would look at like, okay, we have Formula E. Maybe we should rely more on the internal combustion engines and like degrade the batteries more. Uh, but yeah, it's literally race one of a new regulation. It's the first time we've had a car regulation and a engine regulation, huge overhaul in both. So I guess we can give them a couple race leeway on it.
Yeah, and I think they will. Like you said, there is Formula E, and we had talked about it briefly. Like, is 50-50 internal combustion and battery power where you kind of cut it off? Because if you kind of start to lean more into the electric, then you are just becoming like a second version of Formula E. So
Yeah,
I feel
and
like that might just be for
it's
the
not a
next
good thing.
regulation. Yeah. So I feel like if if the next regulations might be when they maybe get away from the battery powered stuff, but we'll have to wait and see. Like
I,
you said,
I
we're only
really
a
hope
week
so.
into the new ones, so
I know all the drivers are kind of not in favor of it. They're kind of just holding their breath and hopefully the next engine regulations. I like they're doing the sustainable fuel system and to run off the ICE. So maybe once they get it, I'm hoping it's once they get it all the kinks out in a couple years, they can move more to an ICE power unit than battery. Maybe they're doing the battery to help with that new engine program with the sustainable fuels. Maybe some teams won't be top notch on it. Maybe the batteries help them out. I don't know. I obviously don't make enough money or am in the know to know the real story on it.
no. Same here, buddy. We don't get paid the big bucks
Yet.
yet.
Yet. Until we're in the paddock asking the real questions.
Yeah, the real hard-hitting, grilling questions from the Paddock Talk boys.
Honestly, mine would just be this is for Mr. Piastri. How come we haven't seen a shoey, and when will we see one? If you're as Australian as you say you are, you would do it.
So Lance, Kyle, Paddock Talk. How does it feel to suck? Go full on Jordy
Dude.
Jordison from Shorzy on him to grill him the whole time. What's it feel like to be a nepo baby? Are you always going to be the slowest car? Why does Fernando always outperform you? Why is Newey going to leave?
How long did your dad breastfeed you? I'm saying till 18 years old.
God damn, that's
Oh,
smart.
dude, that would be great. Like, so this is why we got to get listeners. This is why we have to get sponsors so we can get to these races and ask the questions of the people. They don't want to hear like they don't want to hear the scientific stuff. They want to hear the hard-hitting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I would pay you to do that to Lance.
That would be so funny.
Oh man. So it is a sprint weekend. We're not going to really. We'll kind of gloss over the sprint race. We'll kind of add it with what we're talking about. Uh, what do you see? Do you see another dominant performance from Mercedes this weekend?
I do this weekend, yes. The sprint, I think Ferrari, going back to last season, it was Lewis's only win, I believe, in a Ferrari last season, or podium maybe. He won the sprint last year in China. But just because of the shorter laps in the sprint, I think Ferrari might have a better chance at fighting for the win. In the actual Grand Prix, though, over the full distance, I think Mercedes is just going to perhaps show even more performance out of that car and power unit. And just hearing from other teams that, like other customer teams for the Mercedes engine, they're kind of baffled what Mercedes has been able to get out of theirs. So I think Mercedes is just going to still continue to be the cream of the crop and rise to the top.
So disappointing. So disappointing you didn't do the Macho Man. The cream always rises to the top. Uh, but yeah, Mercedes just looks so dominant. but Lewis is really good at China. I think maybe the sprint race we see them try their best to like sneak a quick win out or quick points. I mean, early on in the season, you got to sneak them when you can because you never know how the regulations are going to go or you never know how development's going to go with cars. So you want to sneak every point that you can. I want to see what Red Bull's going to do with Max actually getting a full qualifying laps in and maybe getting a little pressure on the Mercedes.
Hmm. Yeah, I was gonna mention Max as well. Hopefully Isaac can not have any more power unit issues. But yeah, seeing what that Red Bull can do, not even just the Red Bull, but what Max can do, just up at the front of the field, I think is going to be really interesting. And then, as always, I'm going to have my eyes on the Aston Martin and just have my lap counter start at 20 maybe, and see if we can at least get a third of the way through the Grand Prix.
Do, do they even finish the sprint race?
Ah, that's
Like, do they even
borderline.
make it?
That car can go
Ooh,
15 laps. How many laps is in the sprint? 16, 17 in China? That's borderline.
uh, not 100% sure, but yeah, that's close to Fernando Alonso having physical or permanent nerve damage in his hands.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, like I
And
said, go
we
ahead.
can't forget about the McLaren cars too. Like I just seem it's right now. It just seems like it's Mercedes is definitely the clear front runner, and it's Ferrari, Mercedes, I'm sorry, Ferrari, McLaren, and Red Bull are kind of like who's going to be number two.
Hmm. Yeah, with Ferrari clearly being the favorite for number two after the first race, but yeah, McLaren, obviously focused on last year's car, mainly just trying to win the championship. So I feel like if they come on, and they might come on a bit stronger near the end of the season. Um, but yeah, right now Mercedes just looks too good. Ferrari looks great, and I feel like we haven't yet quite seen the full McLaren or Red Bull. Just with one car both crashing, or not crashing out. Yeah, I guess crashing out. Oscar crashed out. Isaac didn't finish, but he was looking good up until he didn't finish. So yeah, it's going to be a battle for those top four teams, or the rest of the top four besides Mercedes.
Oh, for sure. So do you think that's a good sports bet on those sports betting sites where does Aston Martin finish? Like, is that a prop bet? That's what they call them. Prop bet. Does Aston Martin finish sprint race?
Now you're speaking my language, Scott. We were talking betting a little bit earlier, but Aston Martin, they don't look very likely to finish, and the betting sites know that because I tried to place a bet on both Aston Martins to not finish, and they weren't even an option to not classify. That's how likely it is that they won't finish a race right now. um, but I did place a couple bets. I'm gonna list off for the listeners just in case. I'm not. This isn't advice. I'm just telling you what I'm picking. You don't have to follow it because
Disclaimer: this is not expert betting advice. This is just mainly doing for entertainment purposes and degens with extra money to spend.
yeah, exactly. So there was a prop bet that I had, like you said, a prop. So it's kind of just outside the normal regulations of the race. So not to win or anything like that. It's kind of something a little bit spicy. So one of the prop bets I had was for five British racers to finish in the top 10, which I believe we did have in Australia. So that was at plus 600, which is essentially 6 to 1 times your money. So I threw a little bit on that. I did sprinkle a little bit on Checo to not finish the race. So I got that
Ooh,
at a plus 175 to 1. And then also Valtteri Bottas to not finish the race at 175. And then I believe I took George Russell to win the race at minus 125. He's a favorite. So that means you have to bet $125 to make 100 if it's negative odds. Because in Canada, we use like 5 to 1 odds or 7 to 1. But just because I'm a fan of the US odds system, I'm just more used to it. So that's why I use like the plus 500, plus 600. It essentially just means if it's plus 500, you have to bet 500 to win 100. Or sorry, bet 100 to win 500. If it's negative, it's bet 500 to win 100. So I am,
so you have to bet $5 to win a dollar.
Yeah, if it's minus 500, yeah. So I would have to bet 125 to win 100 on George winning the race, but it is a high likelihood. So yeah, so I have George to win, Checo to not finish, Valtteri to not finish, and then five British drivers to finish in the top 10. Those are going to be my
Well,
bets for the Chinese Grand Prix.
if you look at the five British drivers, it's going to be Russell,
Yep.
Hamilton, Norris, Behrman, and Lindblad. So honestly, your only one that may not get your bet would probably be Lindblad, because we know the Ferrari engine powered of the Haas is pretty stout. So it's
Hmm.
honestly that's your you don't know is Arvid Lindblad,
Yeah, and like
which
I
is still
said,
not a bad bet.
no, that was a plus boost, so that bet would have hit in Australia. So it's a little less likely that it won't hit two races in a row, but I'm praying for it. And boosted odds at plus 600, you can't go wrong.
So if
But
there's any DGens who do a lot of like prop betting or sports betting, I think
hmm
we just now came up with a random Kyle's betting corner,
Kyle's gambling corner.
Kyle's gambling corner. I'm
Sorry, all
sorry,
right.
I just imagine you wearing the green tinted visor, smoking a cigar, wearing the tinted glasses, in a very smoky room, just like getting these prop bets put in.
Just a silhouette in
Um,
the corner that would say, "I've been a fan since Vettel was here," as I tip my green Aston Martin cap.
I've been here since the dark ages. Oh wait, we're still in the dark
And
ages.
we're in the dark ages.
Well, the only thing I don't do any sports betting, but I do like picking for races that has no money on the line. Uh, so let's get to our picks. If you have nothing else that you'd
hmm
like to add on Gina and your betting.
Oh, nope, that's it for me.
So we we screwed up last week. We had both Aston Martins. You had Fernando and I had Lance Stroll uh, finishing last, and we obviously missed the boat on that. So who do you have finishing last? We're going to just do the Chinese Grand Prix. We're going to kind of gloss over the sprint because it's a sprint race.
Yeah.
So who do you have finishing last in your Grand Prix?
I am gonna have Checo Perez finishing last. I think the
Ooh,
Cadillac's just gonna have a couple more issues. I just don't think it's gonna be Valtteri this race. So I have Checo.
you know, I'm a firm believer of you always stay with the top dog. And I think the top dog for the worst team in F1 is still Aston Martin. I'm going to stay with Lance Stroll. Like, I believe Strolly Baby is going to really screw up. I think it'll be a wreck, honestly. I don't see
Hmm.
it being a power issue. It's going to be a stupid wreck. Like, he's going to hit a curb and pirouette into the wall.
And then he better get ready to learn Chinese, buddy.
As his dad leaves him there and just forgets to tell him where his flight is. All right, who do you have finishing in third place?
A third step of the podium. I have Kimi Antonelli. I think he, uh, I think he finishes
Ooh,
third. I think he drops down from second from Australia, but I think he has another impressive showing.
wow. I was really fully expecting a Mercedes 1-2. That's kind of threw me through a loop. You know, I don't like putting money on a Ferrari, but I see Lewis Hamilton. I got Lewis Hamilton finishing third. He's always good at China. Um, and the Ferrari is kind of competitive. It's better than it has been the last few years. I can see Lewis just getting the bottom step of the podium. I will
Nice.
Ferrari fanboy out for one race. Who do you have second?
I have Shaw second. I do have
Mm,
Lewis
of
finishing
course.
fourth, but yeah, I think the Ferrari will be impressive again. I just think Shaw might be able to, and Ferrari just as a team might be able to handle the situation better if anything arises, and possibly keep Shaw up in the contention, at least for maybe not the win, but up on the second step of the podium.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to go with it. He's not my winner this year or this week, but I got Max. Like the guy can drive the car. Like we witnessed a hell of a drive last week. I think he qualifies halfway decent, gets fourth or fifth, and he squeaks out a second place.
Absolutely lovely.
Okay, who do you have top step of the podium?
I have old Jorge Bin Laden George. I think I think he's gonna take the win again in China.
So you think they're just like when he like walks out to his car, they're gonna play that music?
No, no, no. No, George, he's gonna dominate again. We're gonna get just mesmerized by Toto's beautiful eyes again. Just out of nowhere, just camera's gonna pan across to him and he's just gonna be giving you the face that everyone knows what the face is for. Everyone
Oh,
knows what the
dude,
face
man.
is for.
Oh, dude, Toto. I think that was the best meme of the week. Is that smile? It
Yeah.
started with that damn smile. Like, yeah. I honestly like just not trying to be a fanboy, not trying to. I want to look like I know what I'm talking about with F1, but yeah, George for me too, finishing first. I think he will get the preferential treatment in the Mercedes garage. Kimmy's going to be his gunner. I think he's probably going to finish fourth or fifth, but it's gonna be Jorge. That Mercedes is so good right
Mm.
now. Like until something else happens, like you can't not bet on a Mercedes right now.
Yeah, no, they look too good. It's shades of 2016 all over again. I just
Yeah.
will they be
Or
dominant the next 6 years?
or until Christian Horner gets back with another team and Toto's kryptonite is back in the paddock.
Yeah,
Uh,
or the Mercedes downfall Venturi tunnels.
change your car. You change your car. Still the best thing.
I
You
have the
change your car.
receipts.
I have it printed.
Mm,
Oh,
that's so good.
but yeah. Oh, so classic. But yeah, that's what I got. Do you have anything else for the show?
I got nothing else. I'm just looking forward to the Chinese Grand Prix. I hope everyone enjoys it, and just want to thank everyone for listening.
Oh yeah, for sure. I am ready for the first sprint weekend. Well, I want to see how these power units handle the strain of two races. Well, besides the Honda power unit because it could barely handle the strain of starting. Uh,
Mm.
but yeah, me too. I'm ready just for another race weekend. Like F1 is definitely the best part of my weekends when the season's going. So I just can't wait. I appreciate everybody listening too. Just be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Try to throw out as much content as we can. It's kind of getting slow starting up, but we'll get churning out just to keep everybody entertained. Appreciate everybody listening. As always, I've been Scott.
I've been Kyle.
Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you after China.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to Paddock Talk. Don't forget to like and share the episode and check out Paddock Talk on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Discord.